Are we live?
I believe so. Good morning, Sid.
Good morning, Shannon, and everybody else in the chat. Let's see, there is 6 waiting.
All right.
8. Let's see. We apologize. We are definitely new to this, so
Yes, we are.
please be patient with us. I think it still might be in the ads.
Okay.
So, if anybody can see or hear us, please let us know.
Yes, that would be very helpful.
Because all I'm seeing is, okay, I see Lydia, I see Elizabeth, and I see you. So the chat is
Perfect.
working. Awesome.
All right. And we've got Erica from It's Time for Yarn here now, too.
Good morning, Erica. And Jesse, good morning.
Hey, Jesse.
And thank you for sharing out the live, Jesse.
Yes.
How are you ladies doing this morning?
Thank you, Elizabeth. I am glad that you could join us. I know a lot of times I don't get your work schedule right, so I'm glad we got it.
And Teresa Ball is my mom.
Hey,
So
Teresa.
thank you, Mom, for popping in.
I do appreciate that.
And thank you, Michelle, for coming in as well. Alrighty.
So are you guys experiencing extreme cold like we are here? It is below 0, and then the wind chill, it's just brutal.
Well, not that extreme, but it is pretty chilly out there. I think it was down in the 20s last night, so that's kind
Okay.
of very rare for us. Usually, we'll get down in the 30s. The 30s, the low 30s. I'm trying to think of what to say, but that's about it. So, I seen something about us potentially getting snow, but it's so, how weather people can be and all that. So,
Yes.
well,
Well, it is
hello,
cold
Jeff.
enough here. I am not wearing this hat just to show off crochet. Like, I am cold.
I bet. How's it? You said it's in the teens
It is
or
it's definitely below 0. And then we have the feels like temperature where it is, like the temperature might be 4 below 0, but the wind is so strong, and, might feel like 15 below. So, um, and my yarn room is the coldest room in the house. So if
so
you see me
yeah,
shivering,
you're crazy. You need a cup of coffee, a warm cup of
I
coffee.
know, I know. So it looks like we have Jas from the Netherlands.
Welcome in. Thank you for joining us.
Ooh, that's a big milestone for Lisbeth. She says she is retiring at the end of the month. That is
That
awesome.
is
I am happy for
wow.
you and excited for you.
Yes, ma'am.
And Erica is saying it is 44 degrees in Florida and they're freezing to death.
Well, I bet. This is like rare for Florida.
Yeah, well, Erica, we survive up here because we don't have like freakishly long snakes and giant spiders and hurricanes like you guys.
Yeah. We've got snakes and alligators, but
Oh,
definitely not pythons. Yeah.
no. We don't really have any predatory animals. We have some coyotes that will
Mhm.
attack your livestock, but we don't really have any animal people attacks here. So it's
Mhm.
it's just the cold will kill you.
Right. Very rare is it for alligators to attack down here, but can't say it won't
Can't
happen.
say
So
never.
they are
Oh,
animals and they do have teeth. So,
yes. So it looks
um,
like Michelle is saying -3 in northwestern Illinois. Yeah,
oof.
I believe that. I believe that. So are you near the Iowa border, Michelle? Um, And Lisbeth is also another Iowan here. So she's saying it's
Okay.
going to be negative 13 when she gets off. So, yes.
Y'all can keep them temperatures up there.
So Nikki is asking, when you started with crochet and learning by self-teach or by grandma or dad? So Nikki, for me, I had tried learning when I was a teenager, but my grandma, she did know how to crochet and she was a very lovely woman and I was very close with her. She was very competent at a lot of things, sewing, crafting, cooking. She was not a super great teacher. So she was the type who, um, if you weren't picking it up fast enough, she would just be like, "Oh, let me finish it for you."
Yeah.
So I never really picked that up or was able to do that. And then when I was, if you watched my Two Truths and a Lie video, the lie was that I was 30 when I learned to crochet, and that is not true. I was 40. And my friend Jeanette actually helped me. So I just mentioned it one day to her, and she was like, "Oh, well, I crochet. I can show you how." And she just literally brought me some scrap yarn and a eye hook and just sat down with me and showed me how to chain and single crochet. And when I got that, she's like, "Okay, we're doing double crochet." And it made me do a dishcloth. And that's kind of how it went. And it was a little bit slower going for me. But then I just found some pictures on Instagram that I liked and wanted to copy and tried to figure it out. And she's just kind of was a tutor for me so that if I had a question or didn't understand a stitch when I was looking at it on YouTube, she would help me. What about you, Sid? What got you into crochet and knitting and spinning and everything else you do?
Well, for that is completely awesome, and I greatly appreciate anybody that can sit down and say that they want to try to crocheting or do any of that kind of stuff, because sometimes it's not the easiest. But I for during my high school years, I wanted to learn how to crochet, but I didn't know anybody that knew how to crochet. Well, when I met my husband, his mom crocheted. So I had mentioned something to my husband when we were dating that I wanted to learn. So she sat me down. Well, he actually sat me down with her, but he's like, she is going to teach you how to crochet. So she started the chain for me because she said that's if you don't have the tension right, it is hard to. And I was a tight
She's
crocheter,
right.
but I can remember we sat there for 6 hours straight
Oh my gosh.
crocheting. And I told her, I said, I don't see how you do this all day, every day, because my back and my shoulders were hurting. But from there, it kind of trickled into just wanting to learn new things. I kind of got bored with crocheting and wanted to start somewhere else. When right after I had my daughter, I wanted to learn how to knit, but I couldn't get knitting down. So I ended up getting a weaving loom and I greatly enjoy weaving. It is a lot of work, but I greatly enjoy. And then right before my great aunt passed away, she was an avid knitter, and she said that she had some knitting needles for me, the Chigu, really nice,
Oh,
expensive,
yeah.
yeah, knitting needles, and made it to a point that I was going to start learning how to knit.
Hmm.
And then it moved into spinning because I seen other people spinning, and I'm like, well, I'm already doing everything else, so might as well just go ahead and learn how to spin yarn too. So that's kind of how it all got started. So
That's super cool. I love that,
yes,
like, that was, I feel like it like, you felt like it was your inspiration or your kind of way to honor, her by using those knitting needles to kinda
yeah,
jumpstart you a little bit there. That's super
yeah,
cool.
yes, ma'am.
So, for anybody who doesn't know you, Sydney,
Mhm.
can you just let them know, like because you literally are, like, an all-around, like, fiber I don't wanna say expert because I don't wanna, like I don't want you to be like, "Oh, I'm not an expert," but, like, you tell everybody, like, exactly all the things you do, please.
Well, so okay, obviously I do spinning, knitting, weaving, all that kind of stuff. But I am also a pattern designer or design patterns. Real quick, I am going to answer Erica from It's Time for Yarn. I am in South Carolina. Um, but so I design knitting and crocheting patterns. Um, I started kind of tatting, but I haven't gotten to the point where that I'm avid at it yet.
Mhm.
I do diamond painting, anything that's really fiber related, I do. I actually have something new that I'm wanting to start with the channel, which is, have you seen me blend the Rolags?
Yes, I
Okay.
absolutely, that is mesmerizing.
So, which there is actually a video that will be coming out Sunday that where I'm going to be blending some of the recent, which I actually got a Rolag right here. So this is a Rolag, and for those who don't know what a Rolag is, you take fiber and there's a thing that is called a blending board. You take those fibers and you can take different kinds, you can take different kind of colors, all that kind of stuff, and you can blend those on a blending board, and then this is the outcome of doing that. But I am, it's actually on its way. I am getting a drum carder, and I don't know if you've seen those big fancy bats of
Is that
fiber.
Yes, is the drum carder like the big roll thing?
Yes.
Oh,
So I am going to be start making those, and you can either leave them in the bat form, which is what it comes off the drum carder, or you can make it into roving, which is usually what I prefer to spin. So I am potentially thinking about going live and start selling those bats, or even
yeah.
if somebody would want to pay the price for that bat, and then if they don't spin, then I'll spin it for them.
Mhm.
So there is something that hopefully will be coming to the channel this year.
So
So,
technically, you could, I mean, and I think this is a good example of why, like, homemade goods have the price tag they do, but you
mhm.
could literally, you, Sydney, not everyone, but you could literally make a project from start to finish, correct? Like, you could, like, literally just getting fiber, turn it into a sweater. Like,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
you can do every single process along the way.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you,
That is
Jess.
amazing. That is
Yes.
amazing.
I have some alpaca right now that which I've had for almost 2 years now, which that's how long I've been spinning. I got some alpaca. I mean, if you've seen my crochet or not my crochet, my craft room tour,
Mhm.
you've probably seen all the alpaca that I do have. So I still have a lot of that to process, and that's what part of the reason why I got the drum carder too is it'll make it things a lot easier after you wash the alpaca. You've got to be careful with alpaca because you don't want to mess with it too much when you're cleaning it, because then it will start to mat up. And it's a pain to try to hand card out. Um, but yes, I can say that um, I can start other than raising the animal and shearing the animal. I can start to finish. So,
Well,
which
let's not take that off the table at this point. There's still
no,
time.
no, it is completely on the table. I have begging my husband for like a year and a half. I want sheep. I want sheep. Thank you,
So
Michelle.
I have a couple videos on my channel where um it's the yarn is called Fluffy Butt Alpaca yarn, and those were not like sponsored whatever, but my cousin has alpaca,
Mhm,
and it is just because she loves animals, loves living on a farm. I They put them in the fair. I really don't know though if they serve any other purpose other than just enjoyment, but
mhm,
she did, it would have been, I think, 2 years ago. She, got them all sheared, and she lives in Minnesota, but she's down here in central Iowa where I live a lot, and she
Mhm.
brought like 2 giant garbage bags full of alpaca shearing, I guess you'd call it.
Mhm.
And there is a, I don't know if you'd call it a mill that is maybe an hour away from where I live. She took it all there, and they did the whole process and spun it into hanks of yarn. And I was
Mhm.
fortunate enough that she did gift me about 5 or 6 of those.
That's
Um,
awesome.
it really was. It was so different than, like, commercial yarn. Like, it didn't have a smell at all or anything like that, but the feel of it, I mean, I think it was just maybe because it had been such, like, minimally processed.
Mhm.
It was like you could almost feel, I don't wanna say oil, but, like, I mean, there was, like, a different feel even to, like, the alpaca I've bought in, um, at Hobby Lobby or Lion
Mhm.
Brand, and I know this was 100% alpaca, so there is a difference, it wasn't mixed with anything, but,
Right.
um, it's just such a neat experience to work with, and I don't know, like, it would not be cost effective or time effective to make an entire garment probably from 100% alpaca without mixing it with something, but, um, I don't know, maybe if they're your own alpaca, it would be worth it.
Well, you gotta be careful with just 100% alpaca because alpaca doesn't have the, the crinkle. I'm gonna say the crinkle in simpler terms, like wool will. It won't, there's another term for it, but it won't catch other fibers very well
Okay,
like wool will. So
okay,
with alpaca, it is best to blend it with something else because after time, especially if you're like making a hat, it will start to stretch out. So you've got to be
okay,
very, very careful when you are working with 100% alpaca. So, and the what is called a staple length, which I'll kind of show you with this. So, to get a staple length on a certain type of fiber, what you'll do is you will take the fiber and you will actually pull it until you cannot pull it anymore. So the staple length for this type of fiber, which is acrylic, it would be about that length. So we'll say
okay,
about 3 inches or so. With alpaca, you might, depending on the type of alpaca it is, you might get a half an inch to an inch of a staple length, which is very, very hard to spin up. So,
well, I know, so I had made a few projects for Erin, with it, and I did pair it, I, like, held it with a second strand, and on, I think most of the things I did a cotton or cotton blend, because I did notice that, like, you got what you got,
mhm,
and I have a big head, so I feel like I stretch things out anyway and
mhm.
just need a little more elasticity in there.
Right. Take care, Erica. I'm also
Yeah,
trying to
bye,
keep up with that
Erica.
too. We
You
just
have
want
a
to
big head too?
apologize. Huh?
You said you have a big head too?
No, no,
Oh,
I get made fun of because I've got a little head. But no, what I was gonna say was I do want to apologize. We're not trying to ignore the chat or anything. It's just this is completely new for Shannon and I, so please be
yes.
patient with us, please.
Yes.
Um, I did
Let
want to
me
mention that just in case. So, Nikki asks, which stitch is your favorite crochet stitch and why?
I don't like, I would say, like, if I was doing, like, not doing, like, an entire blanket in a certain stitch, but just, a stitch I like to add to different things if I'm doing it, is I love a bobble stitch. Like, I love the look of them. I love the feel of, you hate them?
I despise of them. I
I
despise.
love them. Love them.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I, like I said, I would not wanna do a blanket in them, but yeah, like in a hat or a shawl or something like that, I love a good bobble, like, chef's kiss.
You ought to know if you've paid attention to
I've
my
never seen you
pattern.
do one.
No, but I despise of them. I despise of bobble stitches, popcorn stitches, anything. anything that is remotely close to those, I despise them. But if you've paid attention to, which I think you've even mentioned before, if you've paid attention to my designs, you ought to know what are my favorite stitches.
Cables are
Yes.
probably the ultimate favorite. And I got to interrupt myself for a minute because I did watch your video. Was it yesterday or the day before? I lose track of time. But you said you are considering turning your twisted cable into a blanket, correct?
Yes, ma'am. And I've got it right here too.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes.
Because so that is your is it a shawl or is it a scarf?
It's a
Twisted
shawl.
cable. Okay.
It is a shawl.
So that has a ton of views on your
Hmm.
channel because it is extremely pretty. I mean, it is gorgeous.
Thank
And then it is on my to-do list. I even have yarn picked out.
you. Uh-huh.
um, and then I noticed you do also have some matching boot cuffs that go with it
Yes.
too. So, yeah, tell everybody a little about that because I wish I had one made. It
Uh-huh.
is gorgeous.
Thank you. So that tutorial actually came out back in when I first started the channel, which was back in 2022. And I just kind of seen something that was very, very similar to that shawl, and that I can't remember exactly what pattern was. I think it was actually the keyhole shawl, if you've seen that, where
Okay.
it's got the holes in it to where you can put like a long stretch and
Yep.
wraps. It's kind of how the shawl is. But that came out back in 2022, and there's a lot of people that have enjoyed the pattern. And recently I had somebody ask if I would be willing to turn that shawl into a form of a blanket. And I kind of actually thought about doing that at one point. And so with somebody asking me, I was like, shoot, yeah, I'll jump on that as, as soon as I can. It's the shawl is it's a simpler um cable. It's a 4-row repeat, and the what actually gives it the cable look is it's like a typical cable. It is a little bit different. I think it's called like the horseshoe cable or something like that,
Okay.
but it's a very, very simple 4-row repeat for a cable, because I know sometimes they can be a little tricky, especially like the Celtic weave. That's that's hard to do.
I mean, they look intimidating.
Yeah, yeah. When um when I first started learning how to crochet, that was one of the stitches that I tried doing right off the bat.
Just jump
And that
right into it.
yeah, that kind of set me up for failure, because it's if you're not paying attention, it is easy to mess up on.
Mhm.
And then in my mystery crochet along, actually put the Celtic weave in that. So I conquered the Celtic weave. Is that how you say it? Celtic weave? I think
Celtic,
so.
yeah.
Yeah. So
So
yeah.
is your you have patterns for sale on Ravelry.
Hmm.
Is your twisted cable shawl a pattern that you already sell or is that something that is just found here on YouTube?
Just on YouTube.
Okay.
Somebody did ask me if I had it in written pattern form, but I do not. If somebody in the chat would like a written pattern form, if you guys would let us know, then I will start working on that. But as of right now, it is not in written pattern form.
You know, it's one of those things where I feel like I don't know if people know until they try. It's hard to write a pattern. Like it's one thing to think about things and plan them out and work on it as you go and write your own notes, but to have it make sense to somebody else is a
Mhm.
totally different bag. And then to have it presented well enough that you're like, "Yes, I can charge money for this." Like,
Right.
that's hard.
Now, I do have written and paid patterns. I try to do free patterns as well, because with being a new pattern designer writer, I know sometimes it might not. I'm still in the process of trying to figure it all out, but there is paid and free patterns as well, knitting and crocheting as well. More so knitting than there is crocheting. Knitting is a lot easier to write than
That's interesting.
crocheting is.
That
So
is interesting.
let's talk about your PDF that you've got going on.
Oh, yeah. So it is the beginning of the year. And, I am like one of those people who um, feel like if I find the perfect planner, my life will all come together.
Hmm.
And that's never really been the case. But, I just love like planning and worksheets and that type of stuff. And whether or not I follow through is a totally different scenario. But I do have, and I have a video. I did a couple this year where I made a few PDFs that are free. They are Canva links, and you can find links under the videos for them. But it's to help you plan out your project. So just make it a little bit easier if you want to do a project. There's spaces you can jot down for, how much yarn you have, if you have some of it, if you don't, what hook you use, because I have lost my hooks and taken them out of projects and then screwed up projects because I used a different size or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
So I have got a couple of those, and I did also put one out, and I don't know how many people are interested in this type of thing. I feel like I'm like niching down too much, but I also did a crochet video planning worksheet too.
Mhm.
So if you are a content creator that does crochet, it can kind of help you out as well. So I don't know, just something different, because I kind of realized I don't have the patience to get into writing patterns. Like I I would love it if that was me, but that is
Mhm.
just not me, unfortunately. But I did just want to kind of provide something useful for people. So yeah, I will have those linked and everything like that. I might have to go back later and link those, but I will have those. And again, just as a free resource, if it's something you like, awesome. If not, that is just fine. I'm not selling them. I'm not getting anything from them. But
Right.
if I can help you be more organized in my attempt to be organized, that is great.
Now, where can you find that PDF?
It is a Canva link.
Okay.
So you can just click on it. You don't need a Canva account at all. And
Mhm.
you should be able to just download it to your computer and print it out.
Awesome. So if you guys need to get organized, check out Shannon's PDF.
Yes. And you can always let me know if there's something where you're like, why is this on here, lady? I need
Mhm.
this instead.
Take care, NZ Things. Thank you for coming in. Um,
Oh, New Zealand.
mhm.
Is it can you, can you tell me what time it is? I get so confused by the time zones. I have been watching a couple Australian, crocheters, Litsa at Coco's Crochet,
Mhm.
and also, Gray in Crochet is another channel name. Her name is Mads.
Mhm.
But I get so confused by the time zone. So I know New Zealand is an island just off of there. So yeah,
Mhm.
is this the middle of the night for you?
I think she might have uh,
Maybe
went
she
out.
popped out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe it is so late she couldn't stay up any longer.
Maybe. Thank you for coming in. Is it Azaria? Do you know how to pronounce Flores?
Yeah, we have got some familiar names in here and a couple people that I have not seen in the
Mhm.
comments before. So I really appreciate anyone new to our channels. Thank you so much for popping in. We are kind of new to this, so this is our first run.
Yes.
Um, we are going to be doing this the third Saturday of the month, kind of just depending. I mean, obviously, if it's like Christmas or whatever, we probably
Right.
won't be on. But
Right.
the third Saturday of the month, and we'll be bouncing back and forth between mine and Sydney's channel. So yeah, I think it'll be fun, and I have been enjoying this. So but
Yes,
yeah,
ma'am.
definitely won't be here next Saturday, but the third Saturday of the month.
Yes. Yeah. Um, I was super, super excited when you asked for me to a few months ago for me to come and join you on live. It kind of really helps me get out of my comfort zone, and for I'm pretty sure for you to get out of your comfort zone too. Because
Yes.
like I mentioned to you the other day, I call myself a nervous Nancy because I'm always nervous about especially social situations, and so going live by yourself is, or even in this situation too, is a nerve-wracking thing. And I'll be honest, I've been in the bathroom in and out today because I've been so nervous. But I was like, that is awesome. I greatly appreciate you asking me to join you, and I can't wait to
Absolutely.
see where this journey goes. And
Absolutely. Well, I
yes,
think, our channels are different enough that we're not necessarily overlapping all of the same information. And some of the people that follow each one of us have probably never heard of the other one of us, just because,
right.
again, the content difference. But I have found you are just super relatable and super easygoing and so easy to talk to that it just seemed like somebody very natural that would be able to just kind of jump in and help me out. And
Yes,
so
ma'am.
I
And
very much appreciate you doing this.
yes, ditto,
Hi, Alex.
ditto.
Hi, Alex.
So, thank you, Elizabeth, for coming,
Yes.
and we enjoy having you guys here.
Jesse, would you be interested in going live with me sometime since you're nervous about doing it?
Or one of us, or if we could, all three of us, or
We
something.
can. I
Yeah,
believe you can have up to 4
four
people
people.
join live. So, I don't know how that looks. I suppose it would just be like the 4 quadrants, on the
Maybe.
screen. So, yeah,
Or
that would be something great too, where, message one of us. My email is shannon@shannontalksyarn.com, or Sydney, and her email is
did the kid for 3098 at Gmail.
so, and we'll have our email, we can have those listed too. But yeah, definitely email us and kind of let us know like what you would want to talk about or something like that. I think it is amazing that people in the crochet community can be so supportive of each other.
Yes.
I cannot explain how much like the quality of my life has improved, because I know one person in real life, like I said, my friend who taught me to crochet.
Uh-huh.
Um, and so for me to be able to have that connection to other people and have them be all over the country and all over the world has benefited me so much. And it just means a lot to me when people reach out. And yeah, I love how all of us like smaller YouTube channels are very supportive and like cheering each other on all the time. And
Right.
like I love like shouting out when my friends do something super cool.
Yes, most definitely. It has been a wonderful community, and um, I know sometimes I'm not, I there's times that I feel like I could do more, but when you've got a child and you got other things, yes. So, but since I've been on the channel or started the YouTube channel and everything, I mean, arms have been open all the way
Mhm.
around, and actually, not even just in the yarning community, the gardening community too, because that's originally how I got my YouTube channel started. Was I was hanging out with a group of gardeners, also in the pepper community too, the hot pepper community. I don't know, you might have heard me in past videos talk about Joe over at Garden State Gardener, or some
Yes.
of you guys might even know him in here. He is absolutely amazing and very, very wonderful and a wonderful supporter. Um, because of him and getting to know some of the other people, like if you've heard of Wide Family Farms, Courtney and Dustin,
I haven't heard of them.
Joe goes live with Courtney.
Mm.
I think they're switching it up, but they have an actual channel together that's called Grow Big TV. Um, so Courtney and Dustin, and then King Poobah, which is Courtney's husband, Dustin, and then Operation Capsaicin. They're the ones that kind of got me started into doing a YouTube channel, because I was growing ghost peppers, and so they were all big in the pepper community and hot peppers and everything. And I remember Dustin constantly asking me, "Hey, have you started growing your ghost peppers? How are your ghost peppers doing? You should make a video." Blah blah blah. Like he was so like in depth of wanting to know how my peppers were. And I was like, he's like, you should start a YouTube, blah, blah, blah. So that's kind of how it got started of why I did a YouTube. So originally um, mine was originally a gardening vlog and crocheting yarn vlog. And then it turned into tutorials and doing the updates.
Okay. Well, and I know on some of your, like, videos from a year or 2 ago, like, I remember seeing baby chicks.
Yep. Yep. Uh,
So
thank
are
you.
you looking at Elizabeth's comment there?
Yeah, yeah, and in fact, actually, I told my husband before I came in here, I told him, I said, "I promise you this is not moonshine, I promise you." I
Well, I
promise you,
feel
'cause
like, yeah, you're kinda in that neck of the woods, right?
we, uh, we know some people, so I gotta be quiet.
Oh, that's funny, that's funny. I don't think there's much for stills in Iowa. Maybe
Uh-huh.
I'm wrong, but I don't think so. I
It's
know people who, like, grow grapes in the summertime, and then
mhm,
they will ferment them, like, in a jar in a closet over the winter and make wine. But
one. Mhm.
in my experiences tasting this, it has been very gross. So I have not wanted to do it.
Yeah, in the Appalachian area where I'm originally from, which is West Virginia, it is pretty much, I mean, it's Appalachian area is known for moonshine. So we've got quite a few people that, yeah.
Do you sometimes I don't remember my videos, so when I say this, if you don't, that's fine. Do you remember the name of the video you posted that shows your, like, the area you grew up in? What do you remember the name of that video? It was when you were at your mom's.
um, it
'Cause
was
it
one.
shows, like, all the beautiful landscape and all the timber and everything.
It was. It was one of my update videos. What number? I don't really remember. I think it was near like number 49 or something like that. But
Okay,
I think it was Turned for the Worse or whatever.
okay.
That's when we lost my
Yes,
stepdad's mom and also the dog that I grew up with. So
yes.
yeah, that that property that I kind of shared some of it with has actually, I asked my grandmother, because my grandmother grew up there as well, along with my mom. So that piece of property that you do see in that video has been in the family since I think my grandmother said around the 1940s.
Mhm.
And the old barn in that video was where my great grandfather and grandmother had their cattle and the fields and everything. We call it, well, it's like a, that field is pretty much nothing but a marsh, because all the rainfall that comes off
Okay.
of the mountain, it turns into pretty much a marsh. And then off to the side, which I didn't really share with that part, because it, you start to see the house and
Yeah, you
privacy
wanna
and
keep things
everything.
private for them.
Yeah, but my great grandmother, she had an orchard field along with a pretty decent sized garden. So it's very much home for not only just me, but my mom too. And
Well, I
it's
just
got a
thought
lot
it
of
just
history behind it.
yeah, I mean, that just shows, like, how authentic, like, it all is.
Yeah. So Michelle, sometimes it is overwhelming. Um, when if you want to go ahead and answer this while I gather my thoughts, if you,
Okay. Yeah.
okay.
So I have been if I guess for me, I am someone who, I sometimes struggle to do things until I think I can do it right, and so I feel like I it will be in April that I've been on YouTube for 2 years. And so I have spent a lot of that time scouring YouTube to try to figure out, like, how do I edit? How do I film? What settings do I need so that I feel more comfortable?
Hmm.
And I'm finally feeling like I'm at a place where I can, like, relax into it a little bit more.
Hmm.
Um, what I do for editing is, I film on my phone. It's an iPhone 12. It's not even like a new one or anything. And I do film with the back camera,
Hmm.
not the selfie camera. So I set everything up, and then I film a little. I'm like, hey, it's me doing my checks, and then I go and I watch the little clip, make sure I'm not like cutting my head off or something, and
Hmm.
then I come back and I sit down and I just start talking. So if I'm talking about a project or something, I've generally got some notes I've taken. I don't write a script. I don't really do bullet points. I just have little notes to myself.
Hmm.
But I will just start talking. And sometimes I don't know where it's going. But what I do then is I have um, what is it? It's a MacBook, so it's like the more basic of the Apple laptops. And I airdrop the video that I took to the laptop. I'm not very techy, so if I can do this, anyone can. And then I don't pay for any editing software. I just use iMovie that came on the phone and on the laptop. And I will say I just use my phone totally for a year before I got my laptop. So it totally can be done. But I didn't really understand what I was doing when I was on my phone.
Hmm.
So once I get it to my laptop, I then go through and cut out um, all of the long pauses and where I'm just like trying to gather my thoughts and staring into space for a minute. And then I cut out a lot of the ums. I have realized I say so like 1,000 times in a video. Like you kind of pick up on things you say repetitively.
Hmm.
Um, and then I just try to cut out some of the like I said, the stuff that isn't important and sometimes speed it up a little bit in places. So I really don't do like editing where like some big channels have heavy editing and they send it to an editor and all that. I'm just really trying to cut out the nonsense. So I probably spend maybe an hour or an hour and a half editing out those things. And then I just upload it and make a thumbnail on Canva. I do always try to make my own. And then once it's uploaded, which Cydney, were you surprised at how long it actually takes for a video to actually like upload onto YouTube? Because maybe it's just my internet, but it can take 2 to 3 hours for it to actually show up on YouTube.
Yeah, it's aggravating at times because usually what I do is I'll record a day in advance of when that video needs to get out, unless it's a tutorial. Like my updated videos, I will do them a day in advance.
Mhm.
But there's times that it will literally, I can probably upload it, I don't know, around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, And by like 9 o'clock the next morning, it is still trying to upload. It is
Yes.
so aggravating, absolutely
Yes.
aggravating. Or even like what happened to me yesterday was it was almost done uploading, and then it just said, "Oh, video can't be uploaded." And I'm like, this is supposed to be out by 10 o'clock. And
Yes.
what? I've got 30 minutes to sit there and try to upload this video. What do you mean?
Yes, it is very unpredictable, I have
Mhm.
found. So I guess that's part of it is you need and when I say you, I don't mean you, I just mean all
Yeah,
of us. Yeah,
right.
we have to learn patience and to roll with the unexpected because yeah, the actual uploading process can be more aggravating than making a crochet project, recording the crochet project, and you
Yep,
know.
yep. Ex
So can I just say I absolutely love the name Friggin' Froggin' Crochet. Like that is so adorable. I love that. Um, I would encourage you, Amy, if you have been wanting to start a YouTube channel, definitely do it. Jump right in. Worry about the details later. And you know what honestly pushed me over the edge to start was that I had heard, I don't know, there's a guy called Gary Vaynerchuk. He's a entrepreneur. He started out with a wine store and he does a lot of just marketing stuff. Um, and he's my age. He's almost 50. So he was around like before the internet was a thing and like when email marketing, like
Yeah.
stuff like that. But one of the big things he pushes is like everybody should find their passion. If you love talking about Smurfs, get on YouTube and talk about Smurfs, like whatever. Um,
Right.
but he said when you start out, it doesn't matter if you suck because no one's going to be watching. Like it takes, a while for number one, the YouTube algorithm to figure out what you're talking about and who to show it to.
Mhm.
And it just takes time to generate viewers. So, yeah, you can get on and you can totally suck at first, and it doesn't matter because no one will see it in the beginning. And that
Mhm.
really just gave me a lot more freedom. I don't know why that's what clicked, but that's what pushed me over the edge to actually upload.
Right. And also too, now that I just lost my train of thought, um, if you okay, if you wait until you feel like as you're ready, you're never going to be ready and you're not going to go
Yeah.
anywhere.
Yep.
So how I kind of what I've started trying to change my mind to is um now that I lost my train of thought again is if it scares you but it excites you at the same time,
Yes.
go for it because you
Yes.
don't know where it's going to take you at all.
Yes.
Like this live, for example, I was pretty much just like I was scared to death because like I've told you before, I deal with social anxiety.
Mhm.
But now that I'm on here, I actually really enjoy it, and
Yes.
it's easier as you go.
Yes.
So if you're wanting to start content or
Mhm.
really anything, go for it because you never know what's
Yes.
going to come about it.
Yeah.
So
So, what I would suggest, Amy, is if you feel like what's holding your back is cleaning up your yarn room, I think your first video should be a yarn room clean with me, where you just take little snippets of you cleaning the yarn room and kind of put them together in a little montage because I have found that everyone in our community feels like their yarn room is a pit and everybody's a little bit embarrassed to how messy it gets and everybody waits till it's terrible to clean it up. So no one's going to judge you. Everyone feels the exact same way. So that would just be where I would suggest a jumping off point if that is something if that's your main obstacle.
exactly, start, and if you need to start, like Shannon's pretty much saying, start off small and
Hmm.
dip your toes in the water.
Yep.
So
So you waited a while too, Jesse. So we're not the only ones. I had I think I had 4 videos I had filmed, and they were all on my phone, and I was just carrying my phone around for, like, months with these videos on there. Like, and then my friend, that I worked with at the time, she's a massage therapist, and she does, some, like, crystal singing bowl stuff.
Mhm.
Um, she had also filmed a couple of videos, and then one day she just had, like, the right ambition, and she said, "We're doing it next week. We're uploading them." And I was like, "Okay." And now
Well,
she's been concentrating on her like her own like physical like brick and mortar
mhm.
business, so she doesn't really even upload, and I'm just like blasting you with videos.
Well,
Yeah,
so
I think
what
there's a lot of us around in like around 50. um i I don't know, I just think, it's one of those, we're not grannies, we're not, I don't know, what is it, Gen Z? Cydney is not in the same age group as me. Even though she seems to know a ton and be able to do a lot, she's actually a little bit younger. And she is balancing home life with a young toddler. But I think that being a little bit older can also have some advantages if you're looking at YouTube, because I'm an empty nester. So I have the ability to spend a little bit more time doing some of that, where
Mhm.
I'm not feeling quite as much pressure. Like, ah,
And to you have years on me, like crocheting wise.
mm,
I've only been crocheting for maybe 6 years. So you've got
well, I really only have about 1 year, one and a half
no.
years on you. So yeah. Okay, so Michelle is saying, yeah, she had to learn how to do videos during remote learning and working. Yeah, I've actually, like, I've done some of this stuff, and yeah, I can post videos just fine, but I get super awkward if I have to do a Zoom because I've only done a couple of them. So I don't
Uh-huh.
know, that just is weird. I think, like anything, it's weird until you get the hang of it a little bit.
Mhm.
So we are coming up, getting closer to an hour here, Cydney. Is there anything else you kind of want to touch on real quick, or anything you want to tell us about? We did kind of touch on what you've got coming up, and I
Mhm.
don't think I have anything. I just have some normal stuff coming up. I don't think I have anything too exciting. I did just make this hat I'm kind of excited about.
It
It's
goes
super
well with your
warm.
it goes
It
really
is
well
super
with your
warm.
cardigan.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna do a silly video.
Mhm.
If you're, I know you're on TikTok. I am not on TikTok,
Uh-huh.
because that does make me feel old. But I am on Instagram, and there's like this whole mob wife aesthetic thing going around,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like, I love the leopard print, and I'm not Italian by any means or anything, and I'm not in the mafia, but I do love some faux fur. So I think I am gonna do a video this week on using up some novelty yarns to
Mhm.
kind of take advantage of the silly mob wife. What is it?
There
Yeah,
we
I think it's
go.
called mob wife
Yeah.
aesthetic. Yeah,
Yep. Yep.
because I have got some of those novelty yarns that drive me nuts, and I haven't been able to. I've been hanging on to them for years, haven't been able to figure out what to do. And I'm like, ooh, I got to jump on this trend before spring hits and we've moved on to
Right.
another trend. So
Right.
that's all I've got going on.
Well, other than the blanket and the shawl that I've been forever and a day working on, that's really about all that I have
Do you have your
going
shawl
on.
in arm's reach? Can you show it real
Yes,
quick?
I do. Um,
This
so
is
this
the
pretty please
pretty
with cherry on
please.
top.
Okay.
Yep. So
I love that you have so many, like, lacy shawls because I feel like some of them that a lot of them that I see online are definitely, like, thicker, they use tons and tons of yarn, and are definitely more of, like, a winter type thing where
Mhm.
I love your, like, delicate lacy patterns.
I love lace. Between lace and cables, those are my absolutely favorite. Thank you guys. But I am currently working on that. I have started the tutorials for them, or the first part tutorial. It will be two-part tutorials, with having to really explain the increasings and everything with this shawl. And then the two part, or the second part, will be the trim work, which is going to be several rows as well. So I don't like making going back to how long it takes to upload videos. I don't like doing like an hour long tutorial
Yeah.
because, for one, it takes so long, but for two, sometimes it's kind of hard, especially if you can't put the chapters in. It's
Mhm.
harder for people to figure out exactly where they
Yeah.
are in the video.
Yep.
So that's kind of why I sometimes do two-part tutorials. Um, but this one, I'm hoping will come out. I don't think it's gonna. I was hoping that it was gonna be able to be released by the end of this month, but I have to go out at the last minute. At the end of this month to go help some friends out. So I don't think I'm going to be able to record. That should be released within the next few weeks too.
Excellent,
So,
excellent.
um,
So I've got one question here, and I believe she is asking, like, how do you get the courage to make videos? And I think again, like we said, we didn't have the courage.
you
You
just
just do it while you're afraid.
right,
Um,
exactly. Jump
yep.
right in, pretty much.
Yep, and here would be one other tip if you're on the fence is, make a couple videos and just record yourself, and you don't even have to upload them. You can delete them. You can
Exactly.
make the same video multiple times and just delete it every time, and wait till you get a little more comfortable, talking to your phone or your camera. So, yeah, I
Exactly.
would say if you have any like other questions about how to do it, I don't think either myself or Sid would call ourselves YouTube gurus, but we might be able to direct you to a video or a channel that does have information that you could use.
Right. Like VidQ is a good
Yes.
one.
Yes.
What is his name? Nick.
Nick
Nick's a good
Nimmin.
one.
Yes.
Yep, he's a
Yep.
good
I
one.
really like his. Yep.
Yeah. There was somebody else that I recently started watching too, but I can't remember what his name is. But if I can think of it, then um, maybe comment down here or in
Yeah.
the comments
Yep.
whenever I can remember that. But yeah, you just kind of the best thing is not to think about it too much. Just
Yeah.
if you're wanting to do it, then do it and go from there. If it's not your thing, then you can sit there and say that, hey, at least I did try.
Yes.
So,
Yes. I know there was a gal who was pretty active in my comments and stuff, and she's still there once in a while, but she did, I think, maybe upload one or two videos and then was like, whoa, like my life just does not allow me to have the time to do this.
mhm,
And that's okay. Like you tried it, you found out if you liked it or you didn't.
exactly.
Yes, Nate Black,
Yep,
Jesse. He does a great job.
yep,
Yes, I
yep.
agree.
Yeah, it's for some people and it's not for some people. It just kind of, you
But
never
you
know until you try. So,
exactly. And like with Sydney, she started out with ghost peppers. So and
yeah,
then here she is showing you how to spin, fiber into yarn. So
yep, yep. And just to find something that you're really, really passionate
Mhm.
about and that you feel like you can sit there and spend hours upon hours talking about.
Yes.
And, two, if you feel like, well, I'm not that knowledgeable or whatever, also too, there's people who might not be as knowledgeable as you are,
Mhm.
and they're doing this as well. So you, like
Yep,
Shannon said, you learn over time and
yep.
you gain the knowledge and the experience and everything. So
And I think for a lot of it, this is all a journey for all of us, whether it's filming videos or learning a new skill. As you go along, and people, I like the videos I find. I don't always want to watch a video by someone who knows everything. I like that's great for learning, but when you watch like more lifestyle or those type of vlogs, you're doing it because you want to enjoy that process someone is going through and learning.
right.
It's like you can connect better with that person.
Exactly, and most times it's a little bit more genuine than somebody who's a know-it-all per se.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, like you said, it's more relatable.
Because
So
I find myself like, if I really want to learn like a certain stitch or like a certain project,
mhm,
sometimes like the channels that have hundreds of thousands of subscribers or a million subscribers, they're definitely great. They have earned that,
mhm,
but I don't know. I like watching small channels because yeah, you have a
right,
lot more interaction. It's just
right,
yeah, more relatable, more understandable, and
right. There,
Mhm.
the not everybody's like this, but the fame or the views or whatever hasn't gotten to their head just not
Yes.
not just yet. So
Well,
yeah,
and I think like smaller channels, you also have the time to you talk to people in the comments. I mean,
mhm,
some of the big channels when you have 400 comments on a video, you're not. I mean, it's just not
right.
feasible to go through and answer people's questions or whatever.
Right. And also, I've noticed too, especially with myself, people learn better when you've made a connection with
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
So, some of these bigger channels, they don't respond. So,
yeah.
you're
You
not
don't
making that connection.
Yep, I
So,
agree. I agree. Yeah, no, I'm very thankful for this and definitely thankful for everyone down in the comments for joining us. I
yes, thank you.
do really hope that everybody pops back on next month. I don't have my calendar. Do you, Sid, know what day we'll be going live? I might be able to. I feel like
I
that's something I probably should have looked up before I came up here.
let's see. I do not, but I can
We
figure it out real quick.
Yep, and we
So,
will definitely, like, pop some stuff up. We'll let you know in the community tab, but it will be on Sydney's channel next month in February. So it'll be
mm,
the 3rd Saturday, at 10 Central, and that is 11
11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I was
Eastern.
about to say, I was about to say
I told
Central.
you, I don't know why it is so hard for me to understand time zones. I just
So it will be February 17th is
Perfect,
when we will
perfect.
go live on my channel. So
Thanks,
yeah,
Lyd, I appreciate
thank
that.
yes,
And
thank you
and
guys.
Jesse. Yeah, so if you are not subscribed to Sydney, definitely subscribe so you will get her notifications on there. And if you want a ton of different information on the whole yarn and fiber process, she has it.
Thank you guys. We
Yes,
greatly we greatly appreciate you guys coming and joining with us, and a lot of funny moments and cracking up and
yes. It
awkwardness.
yeah, we might be more practiced by next time, but we might be a
Maybe.
lot like this.
We're not seasoned just yet.
No,
Not seasoned.
no.
We're a brand new cast iron. Just kidding.
Yes.
Here comes my awkwardness coming out. My off the wall saying things.
You're probably not gonna beat how awkward I can get, so don't worry about that.
You want to
Oh,
have
it's a com
competition? I
see who
promise
out
you.
awkwards each other.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, we will go ahead and get off, but thank you so much for everybody joining in. We really appreciate it. And thank you for all the new people, and thank you for all of our friends that we already know.
Yes, thank you guys, and we look forward next month. So,
Bye.
hi.